What is up, y'all? Good to see you guys. Thanks for the support. And I want to get into this. Now, if you're seeing this on a Monday, I pre-recorded this the day before. So don't say anything about me wearing the same shirt or nothing. This was pre-recorded. But what is your favorite WrestleMania of all time that you got to watch and sit through? Now, we had the likes of WrestleMania 25 with Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. We've had WrestleManias where we got to see Hulk Hogan versus The Rock. Whether it was Shawn Michaels, John Cena, Randy Orton, what is the best WrestleMania that you have ever witnessed? Now, a lot of people might say the past, 2 years WrestleMania just because of the whole Bloodline saga. And that's up there in one of my top fives. WrestleMania 40 was one of the top 5 WrestleManias in my opinion. But the best one I can clearly remember and still remember to this day was WrestleMania 31. You had Triple H versus Sting. You had John Cena representing America and Rusev representing Russia. You had tag team gold on the line. And actually, I don't think there was tag team gold on the line. Let me scratch that. There was the Intercontinental Championship, 6-man match with Daniel Bryan and Wade Barrett in it, which is one of my favorite Wade Barrett matches, by the way, that he was involved in, where Daniel Bryan came out on top, winning the match. And from Triple H's Terminator entrance, against Sting, to the match itself, to NWO coming out and DX being there, it was a great moment. It was a great moment. Ooh, my bad. But it was a great moment to see. And honestly, I think the reason why it was one of my favorites was because Randy Orton and Seth Rollins. That was a match, and the pop that pop-up, the curb stomp into the pop-up RKO, that was honestly one of my favorite things to have watched in my generation and in my time. I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again. It was really good, and the best part about that WrestleMania was the heist of the century. It wasn't, just some cash in, right? It wasn't just a cash in the middle of the show or the beginning of the show. Brock and Reigns were beating the living life out of each other. Brock took off his gloves at one point. When Brock takes off his gloves, you know that it's serious. But Seth Rollins, I remember being the age that I was, watching this WrestleMania, and I'm like, man, I think Brock is going to come out on top. I think he's going to win. And, teenage year me, I'm thinking, there's no way that Brock loses his title right now, right? And then I hear Rollins' music. I hear that music, and I said, ain't no way. There's just no way. And when they announced his cash in, I was like, oh, no. There's no way. And Rollins pulls it off. And I think a cash in like that at the WrestleMania, that's why Damian Priest, what he did was good, right? Don't get me wrong, it was good. But Rollins cash in, it could never be replicated. He was toying around with it. He was, walking around, doing whatever. He had the authority. He was pretty much doing his own thing whatsoever. Rollins wasn't really in this mix with Brock and Roman until he cashed it in. So, my personal favorite is WrestleMania 31. WrestleMania 31 really solidified everything for me. It solidified, something that I got to experience live. I got to watch it. It was pretty great. And not even just pretty great. It was something that I can remember vividly. And like I said, the Rusev and John Cena match was great. If you've never seen Rusev wrestle in the ring, it's phenomenal. And Rusev entrance with the tank and the Russian soldiers, with the Russian flag, with the United States Championship belt. I think that was great visuals and everything to represent, the Russian brute that he was. But WrestleMania 31 is clear-cut my favorite. And you could possibly go with WrestleMania 25, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker one last time. That was really something that got me, was Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. And then that was the WrestleMania where we had John Cena versus The Big Show and Edge. And we had that good moment where John Cena picks up Edge and Big Show for a brief moment at the same time. That was great. When you're able to experience something like that, it's really, really, how do I want to say, adrenaline rushing. And then, last but not least, WrestleMania 30. WrestleMania 30, if you weren't there for the build-up to WrestleMania 30, you won't know. You won't know how great. Y'all think this Jey Uso Yeet run is good? Daniel Bryan had the whole world saying yes. If you weren't there for the yes movement in the lead up to WrestleMania 30, you just don't know how great that Daniel Bryan run was build up to WrestleMania 30. You have Batista win the Royal Rumble, and they tried to cheat Daniel Bryan out of it time and time and time again. And then earlier in the WrestleMania, Daniel Bryan had to fight Triple H to get to the triple threat. He wins the triple threat. In that moment of him standing up with both titles, phenomenal. Phenomenal, guys. So, down in the comment section, I would like to know, what is y'all's favorite WrestleMania of all time? And give me a moment, give me a time, a match, an entrance that just had you in awe, for that WrestleMania. Like I said, could be a match, could be an entrance, can be a move that was done, great storytelling leading up to it. Let me know what the best WrestleMania is of all time in your guys' opinion. Mine's 31, 25, and 30. And with that being said, I will see y'all in the next one. Deuces, guys. Deuces.